So there have been a lot of journalists, or activists, who have been fired for what they would claim is supporting Palestine. And this has brought up a question about free speech, and me being as close to a free speech absolutist in Canada, I will say I'm ecstatic this is happening. This is good. Get rid of them all. I do not care about these people. I don't. They hate our country, they hate our values, they hate the concept of free speech, they hate the concept of freedom of expression. They hate the concept of a open democracy that's free of censorship. They hate this, and they've aimed to destroy it for years. I'm glad they're gone. They need to be purged from our institutions. All the Islamists, all the Marxists, all the radicals. Sure, ethno-nationalists too, Calistanis. Throw them all in. We have to get rid of them from the institutions in order for them to survive. So the big one here is, Mehdi Hassan just lost a show on MSNBC, or not being fired, he's being shuffled around or shuffled down. Oh no! Why do I care about Mehdi Hassan? One, Mehdi Hassan is a Muslim Brotherhood asset from Qatar. He started in Al Jazeera, which is a Qatari government-funded propaganda outlet that is used to undermine America and the West. That's its goal. It's a propaganda outlet to destroy the West. Al Jazeera Arabic was very pro-Al-Qaeda. Al Jazeera English does this center-lefty thing, and then they have AJ+, which is radical leftism. So Mehdi Hassan will push the notion that America is a racist state and Black Lives Matter is important because there's the legacy of slavery still affects America. Meanwhile, he simps for a nation, Qatar, that's an actual modern slave state. You go to Qatar as a temporary migrant worker, they take your passport, you're now a slave. It's a slave economy. Oil and slaves, or natural gas and slaves. That's what Qatar is. And we've seen what Mehdi Hassan thinks of the West on hidden camera. Back in the day, he was caught at a mosque giving a sermon, what he thought of Christians, Jews, and the West. Spoiler alert, same thing as the Muslim Brotherhood. So why do I care that this guy loses his job? Why? I don't think he should go to jail. That's where the real thing comes in, but all these people should lose their jobs. Especially in Canada. We just had one in Canada, Yara Jamal. The only Palestinian woman on the East Coast is a journalist. Get rid of her. What did she do? Okay, her thing was she said, of course Jews in the new Palestine she believes in. Of course Jews will be allowed to exist, but the Zionist ideology will not, and anyone who in Israel cannot exist. So the Zionist ideology. So she wants to ban an ideology. One, Zionism is the belief that Jewish people have the right to self-determination in the land of Israel. So if you believe that Jews should have equal voting rights to Muslims, shouldn't be allowed to exist. And you want to say, this is free speech. She's obviously lying. She should be fired as a journalist for lying about her things, because she's demanding a ceasefire, yet she doesn't want Israel to exist. She wants to destroy Israel. So she's a full-on total war person, and then wants no Jews in the land of Israel who believe in self-determination. Only an Islamic theocracy can go by. Okay, get rid of her. She doesn't believe in Western civilization, and she's wrong and inaccurate. Get rid of her. I don't care. Oh, no, the Palestinian woman. I've done this before, okay? I remember, I was in university around 2010 when the rector at Queen's University gave a speech to a bunch of World War II veterans, scolding them for not doing enough to stop the greatest genocide in their lifetime, which was the state of Israel existing. So that's right, the people who stormed the beaches of Normandy to liberate millions of Jews from the concentration camps and death camps of Nazi Europe were scolded by some random whitey for then allowing those Jews to form a state. There's a whole thing in a kerfuffle, then he wrote a letter, and then there was a student thing to remove him anyway. But a lot of the lefties that I knew in second or third year, I can't remember which one it was, kept pushing academic freedom. Academic freedom is about academic freedom. And I was one of the more, let's say, reasonable people to them. I wasn't shouting. I was trying to legitimately engage with their arguments in a productive way. So, they got invited into their sort of circles and talked to them. None of them believe in academic freedom. Not one of them. Not one of them believed in the right of anyone to say, yes, but Israel is fighting against a radical Islamo-fascist terrorist organization, Hamas. Islamophobia can't say that. We can accuse Jews of every blood libel in the world, lie, and make things up. Can't say that. So none of them believe this. If you show me an article by Yara Jamal, or whatever her name is, in 2021 where she's supporting doctors trying to speak about COVID and them maintaining their jobs, no, she was part of the cancel mob. Do you know how many cancel mobs Mehdi Hassan has led? He's led so many mobs coming for people's jobs. Half of his job. Now I'm supposed to feel like, free speech is under attack because Mehdi Hassan doesn't have another propaganda show. No, I don't care. In fact, this is a good thing. We all agree. The institutions are corrupted. They're run by radical Marxists and their ideological allies. This is a great way to get them out. And anyone who's saying, hey, why aren't we firing people for all the crazy anti-white things they're saying? I agree with you. Fire them too. They hate our country as well. They hate our values. They don't believe in free speech or free expression. And listen, in Canada especially, there are no journalists at the mainstream media. They're all public sector employees. All of them are CBC. CBC is a public employee. CTV is a public employee. Global is a public employee. We finance all these people. Listen, Canada, you're going to cry? We save $45,000 a year. That's how much we pay to subsidize, women of color journalists in Canada. She's a public sector employee. We paid her salary. Get rid of her. Get rid of all these people. I don't care. If you can show me one instance of them standing up for someone before this, if there's one instance where they care about free speech where it isn't the right to openly advocate for a genocide of Jews, if they believe in free speech in any other context, I'll come to their aid. I'll come to their aid. But none of these people have gone down, have ever exposed any of the values of free speech, Western civilization, or any of it prior to this, so why do I care that they are no longer in the halls of power? This is somehow me being, unfree speech? No, I'm a free speech absolutist. But you can't advocate for a genocide and keep your job. That's not the same thing. Listen, think of it like this. You have a two football coaches get fired. One of them is because of cancel culture. So if there's one football coach A and he gets fired, he has a 10-7 season, but he gets fired because he had a consensual sexual relationship with some female in like the front office of whatever. And he gets fired. That's a bit bullshit, cancel culture, left gun amok, fine. Another coach goes 0-16 because he kept doing fake punts on second down. He gets fired. Not cancel culture, he just sucks at his job and wants the team to fail. Like a lot of these journalists want America, Canada, and the West to fail. It's time to get rid of them. Guys, it's wartime. This is the fight for the survival of the West. They're all public sector employees. These are subsidized in our country, and they hate it. Why should we be the fools here and extend ourselves so much on the edge to the most fringe of a value where it's not even free speech, you could say? And again, if the government was trying to arrest her, fine, I'll come to her aid. But none of these people have ever come to your aid. And the second you say anything out of line, you think the Yara Jamals and Mehdi Hassans of the world will come back you if you get in trouble? No. They won't. So it's time to stop to protect the radicals in our institutions who we want to destroy. Get rid of them. Get rid of all of them. It's a good thing.